I saw this video recently of a fluid pendant project that was really fascinating. Mitzela, the creator, did such an amazing job making this. He combined metalwork, electronics, and physics simulation to make all of this happen. Just look at all the fluid particles bounce around. It's so mesmerizing. Seeing this video really inspired me to try to make it myself. I'm fascinated by physics simulation, and I feel like making this would be so cool. I already have some experience designing PCBs. If you remember my previous video where I hand soldered my first PCB controller. I thought that this project was very doable, especially since Mitzela basically documented every step of how he created it. It was almost just a matter of following the recipe. So after a few days of trying to understand how triplexing circuit works, I was able to recreate the design that Mitzela used in his project. Here is the layout of all the components. I decided to separate the design into two separate PCBs, one for the LED display that you see here, and the other one for the driver, sensors, and the battery circuit. I did it because I thought it would be easier to work on one PCB at a time. What's cool about separating the boards is that I can use this lily pad interface to connect the two boards together. You can see that I have the ports numbered through 1 to 17, and that's going to be used to connect to the other board. Here's the second PCB design that I came up with. I selected mostly the same components that Mitzela used, with the exception for the micro USB, which will be used for charging and potentially communication with an external computer. And then I also used a different microcontroller, something slightly bigger and more powerful. And here's the PCB layout. You can see the microcontroller in the middle, and it's huge. It made it extra challenging to fit everything on the board. Based on available pins on the microcontroller, I placed a USB on top. The power circuits are on the left side of the board, and the acceleration sensor is on the right side. And that leaves us some space at the bottom for my signature. After double checking all the pins and connections, and making sure that there's no mistakes in my design, I placed an order for the PCB and waited for it to arrive. was really satisfying seeing all the LEDs blink. I totally did not expect to see this kind of pattern, so you can imagine my surprise when I saw this laser bouncing around. I haven't even coded up the fluid simulation, and I'm already impressed. Anyways, the next step was to create this LED mapping so that I can control a specific LED. I copied the mapping into my code. And now I'm able to control specific LEDs that I want to. For example here, I'm lighting up every LED in the same line. If you look closely, there's this weird ghosting effect. Some of the LEDs are lighting up when they're not supposed to. Here I slowed it down so you can see all the extra LEDs lighting up. It took me a while to figure out what was happening here. I forgot exactly how I got here, but eventually I found out there's this line in the datasheet. It mentions USB power and pull down resistors. So I thought maybe this was the cause of the issue. Sure enough, when I disabled the feature, I can see that the ghost LEDs disappear. Anyways, that's it for today. I will test the battery charging circuit and the acceleration sensor next time. I guess I'll see you there. You can kind of see it. Oh, you can see the refresh on camera. It's very funny.